Hey everybody, so it is Saturday, and it's obviously not an office day. I'm here at my humble country home, and as you can tell from behind me, there is so much to sneeze about out here. But I felt like I needed to make this video before Monday, because Monday is the last day of the month, and that means Tuesday is the start of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For the month of October, and I've been racking my brain about this, and the answer was so obvious to me, but for the month of October, the Gillenwater Group will be raising funds for the Our Lady of Bellefonte Women's Center, and the check will be made out to the Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital Foundation, so that the funds can be funneled into the Women's Center. What we want to do is start a Facebook fundraiser, and if you want to drop your donation by the office at 212 South 3rd Street, you are more than welcome to do so. It's very important to me to do this fundraiser, and the reason is because it's very personal. Because I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of 2018. I found a lump, and being under 40, I had never had a mammogram. You're not recommended to have a mammogram until you are 40, and unless you have a family history. I didn't, so I didn't have any reason to have a mammogram before. So I had the mammogram. It came back a BI-RADS 5, which meant I only had a 3 to 5% chance of it not being cancer, so the odds were definitely not in my favor. I had no context behind the finding whatsoever until the biopsy results came back on December the 10th of 2018. So they consider that my official diagnosis date, so we kind of have a preliminary diagnosis of November 27th, but we knew what it was. We just didn't know how bad it was or how bad it wasn't. So it turned out to be a very rare, purely mucinous carcinoma that was not very aggressive. It was a slow-growing cancer, which is in itself very rare for someone under 40. Being that mammograms aren't recommended till 40, so many women under 30 have cancer for years and they don't know it, and by the time it's found, it's so aggressive that it's either a stage 3 or stage 4. The type that I had is the type that a 70-year-old woman gets. I don't know if that's nature trying to tell me something or what, but I was very grateful that that's what it was, because I did have to have major surgery, which cleared the margins. The tumor was gone. That surgery took 5 hours back in January. And the final pathology showed that it was indeed a purely mucinous carcinoma, which was shocking. But the next step was getting oncotype scoring on the tumor, and that took approximately a month. So for a month, I'm wondering, am I going to have chemo or not? I knew I wasn't going to have radiation because of the type of surgery that I had. So when it came back that the oncotype scoring, which is the genetic test on the tumor itself, came back a 7, which was below the 16 that my oncologist wanted me to have, I finally found out that I would not have to have chemo. But what that did do was it started the path to 10 years of treatment. And because the cancer was a hormone-positive cancer, and I was diagnosed with stage 2B, even though I did not have to have chemo, I was kind of in the middle on my diagnosis, because I had apparently had it for years. It was a very slow-growing tumor that grew tails on each end, and from end to end measured 5.1 inches, which was huge. So it had been there for a really long time. But throughout this process, the Women's Center was amazing. My nurse navigator would call and check up on me, and she would just to call and talk and see how I was doing, because when you're going through something like that, you really face your mortality. Before you have any context on what's going on, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to be there for your kids, if your husband's going to have to raise them by himself. And, but they helped me out. Even getting me acclimated post-surgery, they made sure that I had everything that I needed. And I remember being in the boutique at the Women's Center and seeing all the bags that were going to go to the rooms of women that had mastectomies and lumpectomies. So, this is rough. So I knew that one of those bags was going to end up being mine. And yes, eventually it was. So, I feel that I've been racking my brain on what cause to raise funds for, and it was right there in front of my face. The people that played a big role in saving my life. The people that provide mammograms for women and men that don't have insurance. Fortunately for me, I had insurance. I have very good insurance. There are some people that are not that fortunate, but the Women's Center has ways of helping. And the Our Lady of Bellefonte Foundation, they have ways of helping. And even if you don't have the appropriate coverage to cover everything, there are ways you can reach out through the hospital for help, for financial help. So it's very important to support those causes. So I will be making the fundraiser on Facebook, or you can stop by the office. I just thought I would share a little bit of my story. This particular cause is so important to me because I've lived it and I know how traumatizing it can be. I'm in active treatment for the next 9.5 years. I have to take a shot. I have to take an anti-neoplastic pill. And I have to take meds to deal with the meds, but I feel great. I feel so great that I moved my office out of my home and down onto 3rd Street. So if that tells you anything, but that was always a dream of mine. And you go through these things and you realize, hey, if I'm not going to do it now, I need to do it. You know, or if I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it. That's my husband is messaging me while I'm making this video, and I'm so far into it, I'm not going to refilm it. So yeah. Again, you can donate to the Facebook fundraiser that I'm going to create, or you can come by the office and make a donation so that we can, on behalf of the community and our business, present the Our Lady of Bellefonte Hospital Foundation with a check to help the Women's Center continue the great work that they do with free mammograms and just making women like me feel like everything's going to be okay. Because in the end, for many of us, and more of us as time goes, things do end up being okay. And even when they're not, they have this way of making you stronger. So I thank them for that. And I just want to use this opportunity, this month, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, to give back to them, to give back to those that gave so much to me. So I thank you guys for sticking with me in this video in my very sneezy country abode. And you guys have a great weekend.